Let's try this again. I think I got it now. All right, today I want us to talk about our brain. It's my favorite topic. And I have this kind of mentor in business, man that owns lots of companies and multi-million-dollar companies. He's always telling people, tell people what to do. People need to be told what to do. And what he means is, if you're marketing, tell them what to buy and what to buy in order to get the solution they need, or tell them how to buy it, because we need instruction, right? Well, the same is true about the brain. Tell your brain what you want it to do. It will do what you tell it to do, which is interesting. And there's lots of neuroscience, brain science about that and how it works. But I want to tell you a story, and this is Dr. Joe Dispenza's story about telling your brain what you want it to do, and it will do it. He was probably in his late 20s. He had already started his chiropractic practice. He was a triathlete, and he was cycling one day when he was hit by a car. And it was quite a traumatic experience. Of course, it would be no matter what, but he was moving really fast, gaining a lot of speed. He was passing some other cyclists. This particular motorist was slow to respond to the fact that he'd been hit. He was flipped in the air and he came down. The automobile is still moving, and he didn't want to get run over by it, so he grabs the front of it and is dragged quite a ways by it. By the time he wakes up, of course, he's in the hospital, and surgeons are giving him a report on his spine, and there are these bone fragments in his spine, and lots of damage, lots of trouble. And what the surgeons want to do is put metal bars. I'm not a medical person, so those of you who are, I apologize for this very rudimentary description, but metal rods beside his spine, one on each side. And that's how they believe he'll walk again. Well, he's a chiropractor. He knows all about anatomy. He knows about the spine, and he doesn't like that solution. He knows that will limit him in lots of ways, and he will be in pain his entire life. So he asked for a second opinion. Second opinion is the same. So he gets moved to another hospital, and he gets two opinions there. All of them are the same. This is their only solution, these rods down beside his spine. And so he demands that they release him. This man is in the hospital. He cannot walk. He's laying in a bed. They have to take him in an ambulance to a friend's house in a hospital bed. And he knew a lot about the brain, but was learning even more at the time. And so he decided to use his brain to heal the rest of his body. And so he lays in this hospital bed and takes his brain through the whole experience of what he needs done, and I don't know what that is, because I'm again not a doctor, but he takes all the way through the spine, his brain through all of this, what needs to be healed, what needs to happen to bring healing. And he says he does it twice a day, but it takes him 2 hours to get through it. And the reason for that is his thoughts keep getting interrupted. He's thinking, oh man, am I ever going to practice chiropractic again? Wow, will I ever ride a bike again? What do I need to do about? Should I let the lease on my apartment go? All these thoughts keep grabbing him, taking him captive, and he has to come back to what he's telling his brain to do. So it takes him 2 full hours to get that done, and he does it twice a day. He's 6 weeks into that before all these random thoughts began to stop, and he doesn't get interrupted anymore, and he can take himself through that exercise of telling his brain what to do, and it takes about 15 minutes, and he's doing it twice a day. So 6 weeks of that before all the other stuff stops. And at week 11 or something like that, he gets up and walks out of that house. And not long after that, he goes back to his chiropractic practice, and he begins then a real earnest study of the brain and why that worked. So he walks with no crutches, no surgery, no real medical intervention, simply using his brain to power his body. Well, if we understood how powerful our brain has been designed, how powerful it is, what intricacy is involved in there, we would probably do a much better job of using that power. So if we understood that we could tell our brain what to do and it would do it, or more importantly, what we are telling our brain it is doing, we'd probably be very intentional about what we told it, right? So my question for you today, all of April, we're going to talk about the brain. So my question is, what are you telling your brain? Because that is exactly what it will do. If you're saying, ooh, don't eat sugar, whatever you do today, don't eat sugar. Don't eat sugar this week. Don't eat sugar. You know what's going to happen? You're going to eat sugar. Because your brain is hearing sugar, 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 right? Instead of maybe replacing it with, ooh, I can't wait to make those zucchini fritters that we all love. Or I'm looking forward to having shrimp on my salad today. You see how you're telling your brain it's focusing on something completely different. You tell yourself, hey, whatever you do, when you go into that meeting, do not explode on him. Do not explode on that man today. You know what's going to happen? You're going to explode because that's what your brain's hearing. Explode, explode, explode. You're telling it and it's doing it. But what you could say is, hey, go into that meeting and be curious. Go into that meeting and ask questions. Go into that meeting looking to understand the full picture. And your brain will do that for you. A lot of us tell ourselves, don't be late. Whatever you do, don't be late to this. What if you said, I'm going to arrive peaceful, prepared, and excited? Or whatever words you want to use. But what you tell your brain, it does. So if you concentrate on these other things, don't eat this, don't do that, those are the things the brain grabs hold of and begins to make happen. So it's going to be important, if we learn anything, it's going to be important to learn that the brain is where the magic happens. And when we begin to understand it and use the power we have in it, it will be life-changing. It will be life-changing. So my challenge to you this week, pay attention to the thoughts in your brain. Write them all out. Write out all the thoughts that you're having in your brain and think about, where is that taking me? What gets accomplished when I tell the brain these things? Is it really taking me where I want to go? I'm Michelle Gooch with Life by Design. You can find me at www.lifebydesign.guru, lifebydesign.guru. And I love to help people harness the power that they already have, use it to get them where they want to go. I'll see you next Wednesday at 1.